This is Mark. Oversized clothes, not too shabby. Droopy eyes, possibly a worker, and carries a cute comb, probably for her sister. But what's amazing with Mark is that he has a heart problem, but treats work like oxygen. By that I mean, at morning he sells flowers, at noon he cleans streets, and at night, well, he still works. What kept him going is his smart little sister, Janice. He always laments about nature, like how the temperature increases yearly, and every time his sister will answer his thoughts stylishly like, it's because of climate change. And when she does this, it makes Mark a proud brother and wants to work hard. However, like every other human, we have limitations. Mark suddenly felt dizzy from overworking himself with heat. Unluckily, he accidentally bumped into a frantic woman, making her furious with all the mess he caused. Mark sighed in relief when the woman was in a rush and just left in a snap. Like any other day, he proceeds to his other job. He complains how people don't know how to properly manage their waste anymore. But he didn't remember how sweeping trashes won't be a thing if people are proper, meaning he'll lose his job. He thought of a better idea to finish the job. He took his lighter and lit a fire. Anyhow, whether we like it or not, everything of course always comes to an end. While he was working under the scorching heat, he felt a pang in his chest. He collapsed with a throbbing heart, making shortly right after, he ran out of breath. And that was the end for Mark. Let's talk about Isabel. She's a successful woman, business graduate, charismatic, wealthy, and she knows it all damn well. Wears corporate clothes, always. Has branded bags, expensive. Sponsored, a part-time model perhaps. But most interestingly, she wasn't fond of her sibling who in contrast idolizes her so much. Although she has a charming face, don't be fooled. She suffers from extreme aggressive behavior and she calms herself by smoking. One time while working, Isabel got an emergency message from her sister saying help, come immediately. She ran as fast as she could towards the place without having second thoughts. Without realizing, she brought her work with her. But along the chase, he bumped into a vendor, making both of them stumble. The papers were now sprawled at the floor, her coffee spilled and everything was a mess. That's it, Isabel mentally curses. She was furious, but everything was happening all at once, so Isabel, under pressure, just left the scene and continued to her tracks. She reached the place and was greeted by her sister with a sly smile from ear to ear. Then it hit her. Isabel stares blankly, angrily plotting in her mind how she'll disown her sister when she pranks her again. Both of them went home with Isabel scolding DANICA non-stop. This is all stressing her out, so she went to her remedy, smoking. But money can't buy manners, so she always throws it anywhere. And that was it for Isabel. How about DANICA? This young woman thrives independently and has the mind of every student's dream. Student leader? Check. Striving achiever? Check. And receives highest honor on 3 consecutive terms straight? Check. Yet she lacks something. A family, in which it's only her and her older sister. DANICA grew to admire her successful sister. She was astonished with her grit and compassion when working. She was her only role model, so DANICA wanted to become like her too. Little did we know she meant it literally. And we all know her sister wasn't really one of the best person out there. One day, she did realize her sister's work life always occupies her. DANICA felt upset losing her chance to spend quality time with her. Eventually, with the help of her friend, they thought of a ridiculous idea. Pranking her sister with an emergency text, with the intent to have her come over. She really was that desperate for her sister's attention. She hit send, and a couple of minutes after, her sister came flying towards the door. She knew the moment she was typing it, she would get a harsh sermon right after. But she still did it. It was enough to snatch her attention, whether it's the right way or not. Walking home, she knew her sister has an obsession with smoking when stressed, and she knew all well that she was the reason. Every time she finishes, she always throws her used cigarette practically anywhere. Like a good role model she is, she was oblivious that her sister was copying her too, throwing her trash anywhere whenever she does. When her sister asked her to wait while she goes to the restroom, she did too. Unknowingly, while she was waiting impatiently, nobody knew she'll witness a man dying in his arms. And that was Mark. So what does this all mean? Had Janice didn't convince Danica to prank her sister, Isabel wouldn't be so stressed and trigger her smoking. If Isabel didn't chew her cigarettes that day, Danica wouldn't start littering. If Danica hadn't littered, Mark didn't have to clean the trashes, lit it with fire, and trigger his illness. And had not all these three factors, burning, smoking, and improper disposal, then climate change shouldn't have been that intense. It shouldn't have made the temperature rises. It shouldn't have caused drought. Without the scorching heat created by us humans, then issues like Mark's death wouldn't have happened. I think what I'm trying to say is, we are all connected in some way. Every individual is accountable for what is happening with the earth. Each of our actions results to another. It affects each one and how we treat nature and how it treats us also. To issues like climate change, we are like waves that goes with the flow. Just because it's inevitably happening does not mean we can't change the current of the water. It is time for us to break the cycle and start the current with our very own water. Prevent climate change.